That's what you're trying to make money from, my man. Talk to me.
Yeah, so my prior company, we used to dive into, I ran a large multi-state brick and mortar engineering firm and co-consulting company, and we dove into everything. We dove into residential, we dove into commercial, construction defect, everything under the sun, dealing with structural engineering. And while I was there, I realized, and being a prior home builder, rewind, started building homes at 15, and then I went back to engineering school in my mid-20s. And one of the things I noted when I was home building was having a good engineer was hard to find for residential work. And I noticed the same thing when I came out of school working for engineering firms, that it was they just kind of took on the home builders, but they always wanted to focus on the big stuff. And my firm that I had, that our team members, our employees started really trying to push towards that same mindset of, we want to go after the big stuff. We don't care about the little houses and all these things. I'm like, well, those little houses, those home builders, they still need us. And not to mention, it's great work, low margin, or high margins, low risk, which is a great combination. So I broke off and I started Pleris with the focus of home builders. And Pleris has grown great. We started Pleris Plans, which now we have a whole house plan library that we market. We're the only company that offers full permit-ready house plans. So literally you go on our website, you see a price, that's everything. Out the door, you're ready to submit for permits. And whereas all the other house plan websites, you're buying a concept. You still got to go get it brought up to code. You still got to go do all the engineering and all the jurisdictional requirements. We're a one-stop shop. Well, now I have an opportunity to dive back into the construction defect forensics world. And
using big ass words, dog.
Yeah, right.
You engineers are smart, you know.
Right. Which is huge. You know, we're coming in, we're helping builders improve their systems so they don't get lawsuits. We're coming in when a lawsuit has happened because a builder did what they weren't supposed to do, or we're coming in because something tragic happens, like, you know, something tragic happens that nobody expected to happen, like the big one being like the big leaning Millennium Tower in San Francisco. Those are things that we would be going after. And I've got some skilled people that I know are available, that I work well with. And the biggest thing is, do I make this dive? And because the biggest part of it is, in that world, it's a lot of upfront capital to really get you in front of the people, in front of these big names that are gonna really take you to bigger places.
So it sounds to me like, and again, I love engineers because I learn from you guys new words, you know. But it sounds to me like you when you say structural engineer for a home builder, you're talking about foundations, how they're bracing the roof, that kind of stuff, correct?
Yeah, everything. So we provide all of that, and then because we have a full portfolio of plans, we also provide the architecture. And now we're getting a lot of states that are requiring all of the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing to be fully designed prior to the home build. They're getting away from the world of like, just let the electrician knows what they're doing, the plumber knows what they're doing. They're like, no.
They want plans up front.
They want full plans from the design professional, all the layouts and everything. And so we provide all of that right now.
And so you're trying to upgrade into the big shit. So you're doing exactly what you were saying that your competition was doing, right? You said the home builders were underserviced, and now you're trying to move into the commercial world, which takes a lot more time and money, I'm guessing.
The specific niche of construction defect building envelope.
Shit that's broken.
Shit that's broken. Shit that's either the engineer engineered it wrong, or the builder built it wrong, or you'd be amazed at how many cars drive into buildings.
Right.
Right? So.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I never thought about that, but no, I don't think I'd be surprised. So.
Yeah, we I've done a lot of those. And
so how are you going to find those, right? So it seems to me like if my building here is messed up, right? Something's wrong with it, it's leaning, it's a car drove through it, whatever the case, then I got to find somebody pretty quick, right? So I'm guessing you need to build the relationships in case that happens somewhere, or are you going to be like an ambulance chasing lawyer that is looking for things that already have things messed up?
No, you got to get in front of the right people to start, and that's where the capital comes from, is really going out there and then not only first off introducing yourself, but making sure the relationships and your name are front and center with that, with those attorneys, with the insurance adjusters.
For when it happens.
Okay. And then these large building owners, property managers. So when something bad
People
does
that hide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when something does happen, they know, hey, I've got these key people. I've got, Polaris that I know I can call them, and they've got these professionals, and they'll be out there this week to figure out what went wrong.
Okay. And so you need to build the relationships. Well, let me ask you this. So right now, let's say I own a skyscraper, okay?
Right.
And something happens to it, whatever that thing is. How would I go about finding somebody to fix it? Do I already have a relationship? I'm calling my general contractor and he knows somebody. I'm calling my builder and he knows somebody, and that's who you're trying to get in front of?
Yeah, and typically it's a situation of if you've got something wrong on your building, especially a larger building like this, you're either the owner going to go, hey, I'm not even going to bother doing an insurance claim on this. It's too small. We're going after hey, based on this improper construction, I've got to replace this entire wall line. There's no way I'm pocketing that. I'm going to my insurance company, or I'm bringing on an attorney and going after my builder that built it wrong. And so that's where having the relationships with the attorneys and the large loss adjusters is what they're commonly referred to as, and with these insurance companies, that's where those relationships are key. Now there's some larger insurance or larger law firms that really focus on that kind of work, and what's nice with that is some of the staff I'm looking to bring on already have working relationships with those law firms. They've already got connections. They've already got rapport with them. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a big dive into that. But with that said, lawyers like late nights and lots of scotch. So there's definitely the getting out there, getting in front of them, entertaining them, and making sure they know, hey, we know our stuff, and we're going to be there for you, kind of stuff.
And you just for clarification here, and you have money, you just want to be smart about where you're allotting it and not be hundreds of thousands of dollars deep chasing relationships that may or may not come to fruition via airplane, hotels, travel, food, drinks, scotch, things of that nature, correct? Okay, first, Royal, what I would do is, I got a plan for you, okay? And first what I would do is, and you already know this because you're in Apex, but I'm just going to reiterate it, is I would create a Dream 25 list, okay? Dream 25 list is 25 people that whether they're lawyers, before I get back into that, these lawyers, they're chasing somebody for liability on this, I'm guessing, so they're going to make money from suing somebody that messed up, whether it's the car that drove through the building, the builder that messed up the structural engineering. I'm guessing that they profit from it, not from the company that's hired them to go and fix it, but they're going to sue somebody and get paid back all the damages, correct?
Right, and there's two sides to it. So there's the plaintiff side and the defense side, right? And so typically on the defense side, there's an insurance involved.
Okay.
And that's where, and the plaintiff side, it's typically like, hey, you go and you're the one that owns the building. You go find the attorney, and you're basically
sue this guy that messed up my stuff.
And so that's one of the big things with the experts side of it is you kind of got to pick a side.
Okay.
And really with us, the tried and true where again from experience, the tried and true where hey, these bills are going to get paid is when there's a big insurance company behind it. Okay. And so that's why you go a lot after the defense side. Okay. Other experts know this too, so guess what? You're competing with them.
Okay. So I would create a Dream 25 list. A Dream 25 list is 25 names that that you can get business from. They've got business to give, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but they represent these firms, the insurance companies, the type of people that you're looking for. Where do you find them? It's your industry, so I'm sure you're resourceful in there. But those kind of guys aren't going to be on Facebook. They're not going to be probably listed on Google unless you know their name. They're probably not going to have a whole 25,000 five-star reviews type of place to be able to find them. But they're all on LinkedIn. Right. Okay? LinkedIn is a very quiet website in the sense of, you might be on Facebook every day, but you might be on LinkedIn once every 2 weeks. You just go there, you check messages, and you go, spam, and then you leave, right? That's the most part for LinkedIn. Nobody, unless somebody's a hungry recruiter or whatever the case may be, they're not really scouring LinkedIn. I might check it once a month, to be honest with you. We post on there through our social media team, but I'm not that active on there. But going through there and using LinkedIn to identify who these people are, these Dream 25 people, or maybe you already know some of them because you've been in the industry, you know who you're chasing, right? Write those people down on a piece of paper, save them on a Word document, however that you work. Then, once a month, I'd send them a message on LinkedIn, once a month, I would reach out to them via email. You can get their email from LinkedIn, by the way. It's one of the downsides of LinkedIn, but it still works. So you got to be able to create an offer, right? Like what makes you different, So is it, maximize your protection, or is it maximize the income that you're going to get from a lawsuit, whichever side that you decide to take? And that's going to save you some flight, scotch, and time money, because you're going to start developing some of that rapport online. And we know it takes a while. It's going to take a while, whether you're flying around in a plane or whether you're renting hotels and stuff, or whether you're reaching out to them online. The second thing is, I've got a friend, a really close friend, one of my best friends, that has about $30 billion in skyscrapers under management. They do loss mitigation for if there's a storm, if there's damage, so it's right up your alley.
Right.
And honestly, he has them all over the world. So they've got a lot here in America, but he has them all over the world. And I'd be willing to introduce you to him. He's about as tough as a fucking nail, bro. So he's not a friendly guy. That's why we're good friends.
Right.
I'm probably his only friend in all reality.
Right.
But he's somebody that if you talk sense to him, he's very sensible, right? So you're in the way that he talks about his business is about over my head on how all that works, about like how you talk about it. So it seems like y'all speak the same language. There might be, maybe it's not him, but he might have some people that he can suggest to put on the Dream 25 list, or some people that he knows that own the buildings that he manages, or some lawyers that represent him, because he's in tall cotton. I mean, he owns multiple jets, big houses, travels the world, multi-country business, right? Great dude. He's an American dude, but his business is all over the place, so it's not just here in America. But back to the Dream 25. This way, when you're starting those relationships, because here's the thing with those big deals, those guys don't trust anybody. They don't just if you're a builder, it's like, oh, hey, good old boy, handshake, type of situation, or go to a website. Can't really do that for one-off custom buildings and high rises and leaning towers and things like what your commercial structures. But creating that Dream 25 list, that's going to save you some money, because now you're being intentional on how you email and find them. The big thing that you're going to have to figure out is your offer. And the way that an offer works, an attractive offer, is how to get X without doing Y. So how to make money doing blah, blah, blah without having to do the things you don't. Y representing what they want as the lawyer, as the insurance company, to minimize the amount of exposure they have, to maximize the amount of money that they pay out, whatever that thing is that they want. So, I liken it to, how to get six-pack abs without going to the gym. Everybody wants a six-pack. There are more millionaires in America than people with a six-pack. So everybody wants a six-pack. Nobody wants to go to the gym, right? So how can you mirror those two in your company? That's not something I know, because I'm not as diverse in your industry as you are, but I'm sure that you know that. Reaching out to those people on LinkedIn. And if you go to LinkedIn and you go to your contacts, you can export all of them into an Excel spreadsheet, and it comes with their emails. So now you've got a real email that they're using to log into a site. And I wouldn't spam them. I would go, and if it was me, and let's say that it's John Corns, the attorney that you're trying to build a relationship with, go to LinkedIn, get them to accept my connection. You might send him a connection today, and it might be 2-3 months before he accepts it, but at some point he'll accept it, right? Likely that he'll accept it, because there's probably not a lot of people sending him requests over there, because he's not an influencer, he's not famous, he's just a business lawyer or whatever. Then you can export that list. You're going to pull his specific name off of that list, okay, because you're going to get his email and stuff in the XLS spreadsheet. Then you're going to send him that offer via email. But what I would do is I'd do a little social recon on them. I'd Google some of the cases that they've won. I'd Google some of the things and settlements that they've done, things of that nature, so that when I send them an email, it's like the headline is like lawsuit against, in my way of doing things, because when we write an email, we're doing 3 things. We're trying to get them to open it, read it, take action, right? So if I post the subject line is to get them to open it. So lawsuit against Leaning Tower in San Francisco, to use your example, right? Settlement $280 million, whatever those things are, right? And then the body, it's like, hey, I noticed that you guys were the guys that sued the structural engineers behind this, and you ended up getting a settlement for $280 million. Here's what you could have done to maximize that thing and get $320 million, in my opinion. And this is what I do. I've got 19 years in the business. We do structural damage, things like this, blah, 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 with all your smart language. In the future, when this comes about, no charge to you, run it by me, and I'll show you guys how you can maximize your payouts on this or minimize your exposure, whichever side that you choose on here. And if you're interested in having a conversation on how I came to this conclusion, then here's my phone number, and you obviously have my email through this. You're out there doing a little social recon, talking, they see a lawyer, sees an email come in, and it says something that they represented lawsuit with a settlement on it, they're going to be like, well, what is this? They're going to be highly likely to open that up. And now you're starting a digital relationship with these people where you didn't have to fly. Now you're starting a digital relationship with these people where you didn't have to buy them scotch, so that when you do fly out there and you buy them scotch and you pay for the nice hotel and all the things that it costs money, you got a heck of a lot better chance of actually connecting with them, and they already know that you're about your business because of the email that you've sent them and dialed in. You put 25 people on the Dream 25 list and you go do a little research on them and take your time, which is good because you're an engineer. You don't have ADD like a guy like me, right? So you can, not as bad, right? You're more methodical and analytical than I am, right? Yeah. So I'll take imperfect action. You'll take really good, precise action, right? Yeah. And so this allows you to really dial in and have those meaningful emails that are going out, not just, I help you with your structural issues and we'd love to earn your business. You're actually talking about that specific situation, look into it, analyze it, go, here's some other things that could prevent this in the future. Here's some ways that you can minimize your exposure. Here's some ways you can maximize your payout on a lawsuit, whatever those things are that you're at. But now you're in there precise and it pertains to them, so they have a self-interest in reading that because it's going to be a benefit to them to use you, which is going to be the case all along. That make sense to you?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And again, by the time you're actually investing some money, instead of flying around trying to get all these meetings and handshakes and everything else, you've already sent them documents, data. And it sounds like from what you said that's your wheelhouse anyway. You said you've got pre-permitted plans already, or not pre-permitted, but ready to permit plans, shovel-ready stuff that you're already a research and development type of analytical person anyway. Right. So if you'll take that same template that you already use and take the time, and that's why it's a Dream 25 list. It's not 25 jerk-offs that may or may not be able to do business with you. It's very serious guys that have a proven track record that you can show them how you can bring some value and money and make them look like heroes. And you've already done all that without any charge to them. They're going to be a hell of a lot more open to having a discussion with you because you've demonstrated what we call results in advance. So that's how I would go about that. And, again, it's not going to be like you send some, you might get lucky, right? You got 25 people, so it's the playing the numbers just like the lottery or gambling or whatever. You might get lucky and somebody set up a meeting with you immediately, but this might be a repeated thing. And, first you send them a lawsuit about the Leaning Tower in San Francisco. A month later, you send them an email about another deal that they were involved in and how you can maximize this. And you're showing them 2 or 3, over the course of 6 months or so, you're showing them 2 or 3 case studies where you could have benefited them and been a good value-added person to have on their team. Because I know lawyers, right? I deal with them all the time. They're going to pay expert witnesses. They're going to pay people to come in. They're going to pay, cost seg, structural guys, engineers, all this stuff to be able to prove their case. You show them that you're a person of value that belongs on their team. Then all of a sudden you're getting in good with them. Instead of begging for business, you're showing them in advance how that they could do better next time and how they could make more money next time, and that you'd be a trusted confidant on their team. And and you've done this already and done your research in the beginning. So like I said, you're showing them results in advance. I think that's the way to go, so that when you are fueling the jet and you are going out there to buy $100 shots of scotch or whatever the hell that stuff costs, then you're already not guaranteed, but you already got your foot in the door and have demonstrated your expertise and are going to show up with all your I's dotted and your T's crossed when you're in those conversations with them. Okay. That's how I would handle it, man. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the biggest thing is what you hit on is, I mean, that's a much more efficient way to attack this, where we're not taking all the travel expense into this, and and the entertainment expense, unless we know prior to, like, hey, we've got a relationship. We have an opportunity to service them.
Yeah, we got a shot, not a shot in the dark.
Right.
Well, that's my expertise is, I don't like spending money.
Yeah.
Like everything that I own, I figure out how to make money from it. That's what I do.
Right.
And I try not to invest something until I'm pretty sure that it's a sure thing, or I got a shot, you know what I mean? Not a shot in the dark. So that would be how I go about doing it. Dream 25, case studies, how you could have benefited them, being a trusted confidant can benefit them in the future, building it. And it takes, I always say it takes 13 to 15 points of familiarity. So, it may take a year's worth of emails, but that's better than a year's worth of gas in a jet chasing them around. That's, if you had to go out there and try to meet with them and go to the front desk and deal with the gatekeeper and you're chasing somebody 13, 15 times, that's $20,000, $30,000 to make that relationship, which you're actually able to do via email.
Right. Exactly.
Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, you'll do it?
Absolutely.
All right, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Absolutely.